Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're tackling a topic that's super close to my heart,
Okay.
sustainable tourism. But we're going beyond the basics here.
Yeah.
Like bring your reusable water bottle. We're
Oh,
talking about the big picture stuff. How can we actually make travel a force for good,
that's a great question.
for the planet and its people?
It is, and
Mm.
and it's something that's really evolving too.
Yeah.
It's not just a trend anymore.
Right.
Sustainable tourism is becoming, I think, a fundamental shift in how we think about travel in general.
I love that because, yeah, it's not just about ticking off those bucket list destinations.
Uh,
It's about understanding the impact we have when we travel
yeah,
and making sure that impact is positive.
absolutely.
Okay, so how do we do that? Like what actually makes tourism sustainable?
Yeah. So I always say it's about finding that sweet spot,
Yeah.
that balance between exploring the world
Yeah.
and protecting it.
Yeah.
And I think what's really key here is that it's not just, a solo mission. It really is a partnership.
Oh, interesting.
And it's a three-way partnership,
Yeah.
travelers, businesses, and governments.
Oh, wow. So it's bigger than just me making good choices
It is, yeah.
as a traveler. Okay.
And each of those stakeholders has a really important role to play.
Gotcha.
I mean, just to give you an example,
Yeah.
environmental conservation, which we all hear about,
Yeah.
carbon footprints, all of that.
Yeah.
But did you know that tourism actually contributes to nearly 8%
Oh, wow.
of global emissions?
I had no idea it was that much.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So sustainable tourism means we have to tackle that head on.
Okay.
So everything from eco-friendly accommodations
Mm-hmm.
to choosing our transportation wisely.
8%. I am rethinking that flight I was going to book for next month
Uh-huh.
already. Okay, so that's the environment. But what about the people in the places we visit?
Yeah, that's such an important aspect, and that's where cultural preservation comes in.
Okay.
It's about respecting local traditions, their languages,
Yeah.
the heritage of the places that we visit.
Yeah.
And it's sad to say, but some places actually experience like
Hmm.
a kind of cultural erosion
What do you mean by that?
because of tourism.
Yeah.
They start to lose what makes them unique.
That's, I guess I never thought about it that way. Yeah, that maybe some of those, quote unquote must-see spots
Right.
are actually suffering because of tourism. It's
Yeah.
like we love them to death.
That's a good way to put it, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where that third principle is so important.
Which is,
Economic contribution.
oh, right.
Tourism done right should
Yeah.
actually benefit local communities.
Not just like
Yeah,
good corporations.
exactly, yeah. So,
Yeah.
think about it like eating at locally owned restaurants,
Yeah.
hiring local guides, that kind of thing.
So it's about making sure that the money from tourism is actually
Yeah.
staying in the community.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
a way to travel consciously. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are like the big three, right?
Those are the three pillars, yeah.
The pillars. So let's get practical.
Yeah.
What can we actually do as travelers to put this into practice?
Yeah, well, there's actually a lot we can do,
Okay.
even before we pack our bags.
Really?
Yeah. So when you're planning your trip,
Mm-hmm.
think about eco-friendly accommodations. Some hotels have, energy-saving programs. They're using renewable resources.
And I've actually seen that. Like when you book online, they highlight those features now.
Absolutely.
So it's getting a little easier to find those options.
Exactly, yeah.
Uh,
And what about transportation?
Oh, yeah.
Could you swap a flight for a train journey?
Ooh, that's a good one.
It can make a huge difference in reducing your carbon footprint.
You're right. Especially, well, I mean, I live in Europe. The train network is so good here. I should definitely consider that more often.
Yeah, it's a great option.
Okay, so we've planned our trip. We've gotten to our destination. What about, like, while we're there?
So while you're there, packing smart can make a big difference.
Reusable water bottle, that's always in my bag.
Yes. Shopping bags, even travel cutlery.
Travel cutlery.
Yeah, it all makes a difference.
I've never even thought about that. Okay, that's going on my packing list.
It all helps reduce waste.
Makes sense.
Remember, respect nature.
Okay.
Stick to marked trails. Don't disturb wildlife. Leave no trace behind.
Good reminders. What else should we keep in mind?
Well, think about how you're spending your money.
Okay.
Eating at local restaurants, buying from local artisans,
Yeah.
hiring local guides.
I mean, those are fun things to do anyway.
They are. But it's not just about the unique experience. It's about putting money directly back into that community.
Right. It's like a win-win.
Exactly.
You get a cool experience. You're supporting the local economy.
Yeah.
Some of my best travel memories have been just connecting with people like that.
Me too. Absolutely.
Okay, what else?
Well, and finally, don't underestimate the power of cultural sensitivity.
Okay.
Do a little research before you go. Understand local customs.
Right.
Dress appropriately. Even try learning a few basic phrases in the local language.
That's a good one.
It goes a long way and shows respect.
I love that. Okay, so it's really about being mindful and intentional throughout the whole trip, right?
Yeah.
From planning to packing to how we interact
Makes
with
the
the
trip
place and the people.
That's a great way to put it.
It's not just
Yeah,
about the destination, it's about the journey.
exactly.
Hey, I'm seeing how all these pieces fit together, but I have to admit, I still wonder sometimes, does it really matter?
Yeah, that's a good question. What's the so what factor if we don't travel responsibly?
Well, I want you to picture this.
Okay.
Think about some of those overcrowded tourist destinations.
Yeah?
The ones that are struggling with pollution. Or maybe the ones where local culture is kind of fading away.
Mm.
Those are often the direct result of
Oh.
unsustainable tourism.
So we can actually love these places to death.
Yeah, it's powerful, isn't it? And if we don't act now, these problems are only going to get worse. Yeah.
That's a good point. Okay, well, let's not get too doom and gloom. I have to believe there are some places getting this right.
Right.
Give me some hope.
Oh, there are. Absolutely.
Okay, good. Some positive examples
Yeah,
to inspire us.
definitely.
I'm ready for some good news.
All right.
Hit me with those success stories.
Okay, so there are so many inspiring examples of sustainable tourism in action all over the world.
Okay.
Like Costa Rica, for instance.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about them.
They have done such an incredible job of building an ecotourism model that protects its rainforests while still offering like those incredible wildlife experiences.
I've heard so much about Costa Rica's eco lodges.
Yes, but it's more than just like
It is-
beautiful accommodations.
It is, yeah. Their success is deeply intertwined with socioeconomic factors as well.
Oh, interesting.
So they invested heavily in education, and they created a strong environmental consciousness among its citizens.
Well, it's like built into their culture.
It is, yeah. Protecting the environment is a shared value, not just a government mandate.
I see. So that's a big part of why it's working.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference
Okay, cool.
in sustainable tourism actually taking root.
Are there other countries taking a similar approach?
There are, yeah.
Hmm.
Bhutan is another fascinating example.
Bhutan, okay.
They have this unique policy
Mhm.
called high-value, low-impact tourism.
High value, low impact.
Yeah, which actually limits the number of visitors they allow each
Oh.
year.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I would think most countries are trying to increase tourism,
Right, yeah.
not limit it.
It might seem
Yeah.
counterintuitive, but
Yeah.
their focus is really on preserving
Okay.
their unique culture and environment.
So they're prioritizing quality over quantity.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Making sure that tourism benefits the country without overwhelming it.
They're thinking long term.
They are.
Okay, so we've got Costa Rica, we've got Bhutan. Are there places where travelers can like actually get involved in conservation efforts?
Yeah, the Maldives is a great example.
Maldives. Okay.
They have coral reefs.
Mhm.
Restoration programs where tourists
Mm.
can participate in like hands-on
Uh-huh.
conservation work. Imagine like snorkeling
Yeah.
and helping to rebuild the very reefs you're exploring.
That's amazing.
It's a win-win.
It's like you're part of the solution, not just a bystander.
Exactly.
It's like sustainable tourism
Eh?
is about more than just
Yes.
minimizing harm. It's about like actively contributing
Yeah.
to a better future.
Yeah, you're spot on. And it really challenges us to think differently about the purpose of travel,
Yeah.
Like, is it just about escape, relaxation?
Right.
Is there deeper motivation?
Ooh, deeper.
Could it be about personal growth,
Uh,
cultural issues, even giving back to the places that we visit?
For me, travel is definitely
Yeah.
about more than just like ticking off a list
I know what I
of
mean.
sites I want to experience, different cultures, learn about the world, even learn about myself.
Exactly. And sustainable tourism aligns with that.
Hmm.
Deeper purpose. It encourages us to engage more consciously with the places we visit.
Yeah.
And the people who live there.
Yeah.
It pushes us beyond the role of a passive tourist and into the role of a responsible traveler.
It's like shifting from a mindset of consumption to a mindset of contribution.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, but let's be honest. Isn't there sometimes a disconnect between wanting to travel sustainably
Yeah.
and like the reality of the tourism industry?
There are definitely challenges.
Yeah.
One big one is the perception that sustainable travel is always more expensive.
Yeah, I've heard that. Like, if
Yeah.
you want to be eco-conscious, you have to pay a premium.
While it's true that some sustainable options might cost more upfront, it's not always the case.
Okay.
And even when it is, we need to rethink our definition of value.
Okay.
Are we supporting businesses that are treating their employees fairly
Yeah.
and minimizing their environmental impact? That adds value to our trip,
Yeah.
even if the upfront cost is slightly higher.
I like that perspective. It's not about
Yeah.
getting the cheapest flight
Right.
or hotel room. It's about investing in
Yeah.
something bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
But how do we even know which businesses are genuinely committed
That's a great
to
question.
sustainability? There's a lot of greenwashing out there.
There is.
Right.
Yeah.
So how do we avoid falling for those traps? How do we know who to trust? It's tricky, right?
It is. But that's where a little bit of research comes in.
Okay.
Look for third-party certifications
Okay.
from reputable organizations.
What's like checking for a seal of approval?
Exactly.
Something beyond just the company's own claims.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
And there are certifications for all sorts of things.
Like what?
From eco-friendly accommodations to responsible wildlife tours.
Are there any like specific certifications
Yeah.
that we should be on the lookout for?
Absolutely. For example,
Wowed.
LED
Okay.
for building sustainability,
That-
or the Global Sustainable Tourism Council criteria,
Okay.
GSTC, for tour operators.
Okay. So these are like thoroughly vetted, basically.
They are. These certifications involve rigorous assessments, so they're a pretty good indicator of a company's commitment to sustainability.
I'll be checking for those from now on. But what about when? Even if I do all my research, sometimes it feels like there just aren't good sustainable options.
Yeah.
Have you ever run into that?
I think we've all faced that dilemma at some point,
Yeah.
but I think it's important to remember that sustainable tourism is a journey,
Oh, okay.
not a destination. We're all
Mm.
learning and striving to do better. And sometimes that means making compromises.
Yeah, perfection isn't always possible.
Right.
But even if we can't always make the quote-unquote perfect choice, we can still make choices
Yeah.
that align with our values.
Absolutely.
Right.
And don't underestimate the power of simply asking questions.
Okay.
When you're booking a hotel or a tour,
Yeah.
ask about their sustainability practices.
It's like using your consumer power
Exactly.
to like push for change.
Yeah, it sends a message
Yeah.
that travelers care about these issues.
And maybe that encourages them to do better.
It can, yeah.
I've noticed that more and more people are talking about sustainable tourism these days, it feels like. It's finally gaining traction.
It is, and that's incredibly encouraging. The
Mhm.
more people that demand sustainable options,
Right.
the more the industry will respond.
It's like a positive feedback loop.
Exactly.
Like consumers demand better choices, businesses step up to provide them, and then it becomes easier for everyone to travel more responsibly.
Yeah, I love that.
And I feel like technology is playing a big role in all this.
It is, absolutely.
There are so many apps and websites now
Yeah.
that make it so much easier to find eco-friendly options.
Exactly, yeah.
Like it takes away some of
Yeah.
those excuses, right?
It does.
Like, oh, I didn't know where to find those options or
No.
it was too complicated.
It makes it more accessible
Yeah.
and convenient.
Okay, what about like the really big picture stuff? What does the future of sustainable tourism
That's a big question.
look like to you?
I envision a future where sustainable tourism is simply the norm. It's not a niche market or a special category. It's just how tourism is done.
So instead of overcrowded tourist traps,
Right.
we have destinations that are thriving
Yeah.
because of responsible tourism.
Yeah.
Local communities benefit, the environment is protected, and travelers have
Right.
richer, more authentic experiences.
You said it perfectly. Imagine destinations where cultural exchange is at the heart of tourism, where travelers are actively participating in conservation efforts, and where local economies are flourishing.
Okay, but realistically, how do we get there?
It's going to require a continued shift in mindset,
Okay.
both for travelers and the industry.
It's got to be both sides.
It does, yeah. We have to move beyond seeing sustainability as a nice to have
Right.
and embrace it as a core value.
Making it the standard. not the exception.
Exactly.
But that sounds like a tall order. What can we as individuals do?
Well, it starts with each of us taking responsibility for our travel choices.
Doing our research, supporting the right businesses.
Yeah. Advocating for more sustainable practices within the industry.
So it's not just about the big sweeping changes, it's about the little everyday choices.
Exactly, yeah. Every little step we take makes a difference.
And maybe inspiring others to do the same.
Absolutely.
Well, I am walking away from this conversation feeling very inspired and empowered. It's clear that sustainable tourism isn't just about protecting the places we love, it's about creating a better world through travel.
Beautifully said. It's a journey we can all be a part of.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into sustainable tourism. Remember, every choice we make, every action we take, contributes to a more sustainable future. So let's all choose to travel with intention, with respect, and with a commitment to leaving the world a little better than we found it.